Welcome to the Release Your Blocks podcast. I am your host, Victoria Bond. I am a spiritual empowerment coach. I help teach others to show up to their potency so they can fulfill their mission here on earth. I am so glad you are here. And if you are interested in becoming a medium, if you're interested in becoming a life coach, or if you're interested in shifting your life from the 3D to live more in the 5D reality, then check me out, book a clarity call, and let's get chatting.
Hello, and today I want to have a talk to you about perfectionists, perfectionitis, the word perfection, and where this could be stopping you from actually being the perfect being that you already truly be. People get stuck. They get stuck on words. They get stuck on punctuation. They get stuck on the rights and the wrongs and what they think they should be, how they think they should act, or what they have to do to actually get to the next level of their expansion or their income or their relationship. Perfectionitis is literally killing the expansion of all of us getting into a 5D reality where we create fast, we create from emotions, and we create from simple, clean, pure choice. Many spiritual beings and spiritual teachers talk about perfectionitis and even perfection being what we call a distractor implant. Now, a distractor implant is something that stops you from being all of who you be. And when we are trying to function from being perfect and being good and being right and being overly aligned, then what happens is we can start functioning from considerations and points of views. I used to pride myself on being right, being aligned, and being good. So therefore, I used to find myself judging others for their choices. For instance, sleeping with lots of people or making choices that didn't fit into this reality, the choices that other people would judge, or sitting around not doing much. Like, hello, how lazy are you? You're meant to work. You're meant to do things. You're meant to use your gifts and your talents to, make money. You can't sit around and do nothing. So I used to find myself judging other people a lot, especially in my mid-20s. I would find myself trying to be in this perfection energy. And what that meant was the harsher I was on how perfect I was to be, the more I projected those judgments that I had of myself and those expectations I had of myself onto other people. And it wasn't until my world came crumbling down big time, when I had my second child. So I was around about 32 or something like that. I can't even remember now. That was 7 years ago. All right, so 31, where I was literally like, oh my gosh, I'm like judging everybody. And, I am literally feeling these emotions of I'm not good enough and nobody else is either. And how am I supposed to have 2 children and have the business and have a relationship and have a sexual relationship with my husband and have the energy to have friends and to go onto a spiritual journey or tap into, whatever that is, whatever that energy is, and to create more? How am I supposed to do this and create more? Do I just have to keep working harder and working harder and judging others that don't work as hard, or those who get money coming to them easily? And the reason why I share this with you today is because I have been the most judgmental person in the world. Unknowingly, I've been super judgmental. I thought I was right. I thought that my opinion was the right opinion. And maybe people should act a little bit differently. Now, of course, in my defense, I have always had an energy of receiving everybody and loving everybody and understanding people deeply. And, the way this has been reflected is people have always told me their dark their dark secrets, the secrets that they are ashamed about, the secrets of things that have happened to them. And I've always understood and I've always listened and I've never judged those things. But where have I judged people for their everyday manners? Where have I judged people for their parenting? Where have I judged people for not moving enough, for eating too much? Where have I been judging others and getting that mistaken belief of actually that judgment wasn't about being right? It was a reflection of me trying to be perfect. And if I'm going to be perfect, I'm going to need people around me to be perfect too. So I will judge them and I will compare myself and I will be right and I will be good. The problem when we do this, guys, is this is coming from a space of unconscious behavior and mistaken beliefs and limitations, and of course, programming and conditioning of how we're meant to be at a certain age. You hit 30, you have your second child, money should be starting to flow now. Your life is meant to look this certain way when you hit 30. So not only did I start waking up at 30 and go, whoa, okay, I feel like spirit's coming in, I'm having a really hard time, but I'm also like light and expansive and I'm interested in this word consciousness and maybe there's spirits around me, maybe I have these gifts. I had both. And this is the beauty about the world, is that when we are playing with the idea of what perfection means and when people are saying, I'm perfectly imperfect, I say, no, you are perfect. I no longer say I'm perfectly imperfect because I'm not imperfect, I am perfect. That is what I be. And it doesn't mean that I'm not going to re-navigate. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to pivot. It's not to mean that I'm not going to make mistakes or accidents. But what if all those mistakes and accidents were perfect for the alignment of where I be for my soul's growth? And a lot of the time we don't consider this. We just think, hey, I want to be perfect. I want to get rid of this little bit of fat here. And I wish my diet was better. And when I get to this, 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 and when I get to this age, and when my kids are a bit older, and when I've got the money, and maybe, and I want, and I need, and, it's not my fault. It's everybody else's fault. But you know what? I'm aiming for perfection. And it's crazy. This is insanity, because what a child does when they fall over, when they're first starting to learn to walk, is they get back up and they keep walking and they don't turn around and say, oh my God, I just fell over again. I'm so bad at this. Oh, if I fall over another 2 times, I'm going to give up and I'm just going to sit on my butt or I'm going to crawl everywhere. And they don't do that because they're conscious. And they keep getting up and they keep going. So every time I make a mistake, I'm like, wow, I'm so grateful. Okay, I'm getting back up. Every time I make it, I fall over and I have an accident, I go, whoa, okay, yay. We must have gone a little bit of we must have gone a little bit of a detour then, so I could navigate something else. I wonder what that was. I wonder what I was just navigating. And recently on the Wake Up Workshop, a free 2-hour call I did for my audience, I was talking about how I invested $15,000 into a coach to work with him for 5 weeks. Best money I ever spent. I got absolutely nothing I wanted from that. Absolutely nothing that I chose, or should I say what I thought I was choosing. I was looking for a perfect remedy to create more impact, to create more money, and she had the perfect answer for me. It was a vibrational match made in heaven, and I was only getting these intuitive hits, and they were loud and they were clear, and it's because I was meant to work with her. That there was me buying into perfectionitis. And it was the best money I ever spent because it showed me exactly what I required, which was, what does integrity mean to you? What does authentic mean to you? What does perfect mean to you? What does your clients mean to you? What does money mean to you? And what energy and emotions are you willing to infuse into all of those things? And what I found was this perfect aligned coach had come along and showed me exactly what I wasn't choosing, And now every day I'm like, thank you for that experience, because I believe that has just taken 5 years off my expansion. And what I mean by that is I would have had to learn that lesson over and over and over and over and over again in different ways. But I say to the universe, and I say this all the time, dear God, dear universe, dear me, what would you have me do? To align fast, to align quickly, and to help me have the most divine up levels. And sometimes when you're asking for it fast and hard, you get that. You get the intensive version. So that 15K, that was the intensive version of me smashing out the perfectionitis and showing up and saying, I am already enough. And I don't need a strategy. I don't need a hustle. Okay. The irony of it was she's teaching about not hustling, and the whole thing was hustling. The irony about it was it wasn't the vibration. It wasn't the energy. It was all about the strategy, right? So I took what I learned and I did what any good coach does. I utilized the parts which were amazing and I transformed the rest of it. And on the outside, it looks like, oh my gosh, you totally fucked that up. You lost 15K plus a whole, I'd probably say it cost me about 40K altogether. But I just collapsed timelines and I just took 5 years off my growth. So now I can get the stuff done faster. Oh my gosh, best 15K I ever spent. Now, if I'd gone into perfectionitis, which is where I started off, to get the 100K months, to get my reach bigger, which is what I went for. If I had stuck into that mentality and I had gone along with what the person was telling me that didn't align with me, then I would still be in a loop now and I wouldn't be functioning from integrity. I would certainly not be my authentic self. I would be in a scheme of money going, oh my God, is this it? It showed me exactly what I didn't want. And our partners can do that. The perfect relationship, there is no such thing. But it is always perfect for where you're at. Because how can you be with somebody for 20 years and it always be, like seemingly perfect on the outside? It's always perfect in moment to moment to moment because you're continuously gifting, realigning and pivoting towards each other. So for instance, if you take my husband and I, he is an emotional authority. So he's got an he's got defined solar plexus in human design. He's a generator. He's a 5-1. I'm a 3-5 splenic projector, and I have an open solar plexus. And what that means is that I feel his emotions. I feel his waves. I feel his energy very intensely. So I feel it before he even feels it sometimes because he's being it. And the way that I navigate my perfect relationship is by going, what do I need right now for Victoria and Victoria's human? And what does Luke need for Luke and Luke's being and his human as well? So sometimes that might be like a week apart for my human. Other times it might be spending a month like wrapped up together, just bouncing off each other and really enjoying each other's company. So there's no actual, what it seems to be perfect on the outside, that there's completely different for everybody else. But if you're trying to tap into perfect from a collective point of view, then you're always going to feel imperfect. The truth is, everything you create is always perfect for where you are at the moment. So even if your relationship is in a little bit of turmoil, it's always perfect. If your relationship comes to an end, it's perfect. If you are making no money right now, that is perfect. But it doesn't mean that the next moment has to be that. It doesn't mean that the next moment will be that broke or that conflict or that contrast or that resistance. It doesn't mean that at all. You get to choose moment to moment to moment to moment what is perfect for you. And if you can acknowledge that where you are right now is in perfect alignment with your soul's path, and that you have completely, totally and utterly chosen this, the problems in your life, you've chosen. The relationships in your life, you have chosen. Your money, the circumstances, the clients, you might have pain in the ass clients. You might have a pain in the ass sibling or child. What if you actually did have a part of that creation? What if you were more powerful than you ever considered? Ever. And that you created the health, the wealth, the attachments, the entity attachments, the problems, the wins. Have you ever noticed somebody going, oh my God, I'm just so lucky. I always win shit. I always win cakes. I win money. I just seem to win like scratchies all the time. I always get money on them. Or great things always happen to me. It's always perfect divine timing. The universe always gives me the money. I hear this all the time. The universe always provides and gives me the money for what I'm truly choosing. You choose whether you are in alignment or you are ready for that, and then you create that. The universe will support you in that. But when people say to me, the universe will provide, I'm putting it out there. I'm like, that's good for you, but what actions can you put out there? And what feelings do you have? And what emotions do you have? And how much do you believe that this is the thing for you in this moment and that you can have it? That is the thing. We dismiss that we have so much perfect power within us that we are creating our realities. And when we start functioning from this, distracted implant or perfectionism, it can stop us in our tracks. It can stop us from doing the online business. It can stop us from putting ourselves out there as these spiritual beings. It can stop us from speaking our truth. It can stop us from being honest with who we truly feel to be, because we think, maybe we're just going through another phase. But you are so multi-faceted. You have got so many dimensions that you swing in and out of every single day. You've got so many ages that you swing in and out of every single day. You are an emotional masterpiece in an emotional body, and your being is here to have this great and glorious adventure and learning. You're not here on accident. You didn't just accidentally come along when the sperm and the egg, when they got together, when mum and dad got together, and you came here and you went, oh yeah, it was a bit of an accident. What am I even doing here? You're a perfect soul. You are a perfect being and you're a perfect body. Your thoughts shape your reality, and whatever thoughts you're thinking, not necessarily saying, but whatever you are thinking and aligning to is really about the vibration that you're aligning to. When people talk about the secret and they go, yes, I'm going to get the $1 million, I'm going to get the $1 million. When people work with me, like today, people go, 50K months, they're mine. I'm like, do you really believe that, or are you just saying that? Because I know that it was only a couple of years ago that the 10K plus months, holy moly, is that even possible? I started asking questions. Is that even possible? Have I done enough? Am I good enough? No, I'll never be as good as my coach. I just had a 50K week. It's insane. I felt embarrassed telling my sister before. I went around for a cup of coffee and I said, how you going? She's like, good. And I said, I had my biggest week in business. And she goes, congratulations. And I said, guess how much it was? And she goes, how much? And she's, bathing her little baby. And I said, over $50,000. And she nearly choked and she goes, what, in a week? And I went, in a week. With soul-aligned clients that I love working with. And yeah, and I just kind of laughed. And I said, I've energetically aligned to that as a match. And she just went, wow, that's amazing. And I went, uh-huh. And I wasn't skiding, I was celebrating. Because when you start acknowledging that you, in fact, get to have what it is you want to, and all you have to do is match that vibration. As Abraham Hicks, if you want to do this, then go and listen to Abraham Hicks and listen to those meditations, because they're incredible. Or Joe Dispenza. It's about saying, how do I become the energetic match for what I'm truly choosing? And where is perfectionist and being perfect with everything in my life the thing really fucking me up? If I had listened to all the people, and I say this all the time, but if I had listened to all the people that said, oh my gosh, you're just so bad at punctuality, you say the wrong things, it's hilarious. If I listened to those people, I would have never had a 50K week or a 10K month or, hundreds of thousands of dollars in a year. And I don't like talking about money online a lot, but I do because I want to show people what else is possible. So what are the signs and the synchronicities? What are the nudges? What is your intuition telling you? How do you feel in everyday alignment to your life? If you act in one way and it is completely out of sync, whether it's your relationship, whether it's your parenting, whether it's your money circumstances, whether it's your self-talk, whether it's your body, every single way that you act, you could be perfect in every single way. There might be one area that is really, really shitty and you feel absolutely like, oh my God, I just do this thing and it's so bad. Why do I do that? That there is the thing. Oh, hello, little fantail. That there is the thing that's going to really speak to the vibration that you're at. The way you act in one way is the way that you act in every way. And when we're trying to pretend that we're perfect, to fit into the category of perfect, rather than realizing that we are already perfect and we get to shift and change and pivot and align every single day. That every entrepreneur knows that there's never a level you get to and you go, I'm done. That is the day that you close your eyes and you choose to pass. You choose to go and go, oh, I've done enough. Yes. At night you can go to bed and say, I've done enough. Yes. I love that feeling. Today I've done enough. It's amazing. But tomorrow I'm going to wake up and there's going to be another level and I'm going to expand more and I'm going to challenge myself and I am going to show up and it's going to be perfect. If no one shows up, doesn't matter. I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up for myself. I'm going to respond to myself. I'm going to create my own invitations, depending on your human design, depending on your authority, depending on your energy. I was talking to a manager today and I said, go do this, go do that, go do this. There's all these tons of amazing ideas that are flooding through. And she's like, okay, cool. And I go, do it for as long as it's fun. Create a play space that's fun for you and then change it if you don't want to do it. That's the thing. It's your prerogative to change your mind instead of trying to be perfect because it is taking you away from who you really be. I used to see all of these as a projector. I used to see these people with the perfect bodies and the perfect husbands and the perfect cars and the perfect houses and the perfect children and the perfect spa and the perfect friends and the perfect holidays and the perfect amount of money. And I'd sit there going, how is this? I can't ever get that. I can't ever get that. So I felt like I was pretty much just not born to have stuff. The interesting thing now is as soon as I dropped all the points of views about when I get this and when I get this and if I get this and one day, all of those things, once I started dropping the one day when I manifest or whatever, I started going, what is the vibration that I want to match right now? And I started playing with myself rather than other people. Super interesting things happened. I started shifting my perception on my body and started going, oh my God, I love these curves. Damn, I'm going to start buying nice clothes that fit my size 14, not the size 10 that I've always tried so hard to be in. I started looking at my husband and I stopped thinking, oh, I wish I had a husband that did this and this and this and this and this, and started going, oh my God, he's so hot. I wonder how good, or should I say fun, I wonder how much fun we can have in our relationship, because I feel like I barely know him. Where have we put our partners into a perfect category of what they should be and then tried to mold them into that? Ooh, yuck, 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 yuck. Where have people tried to do that with us? Where have family members tried to do that with us? Where have we tried to do that with us? Where have we tried to do that with our own children? Where have we tried to do that with our opinions about schooling? Where have we tried to do that with our opinions about vaccinated or not vaccinated? Where have we tried to create a perfect world, an idyllic world in our heads without the consideration of we are all perfect, we are all blueprints, we are all here to be messy, to be creative, to be conscious, and to be all of us. And when we talk about being perfect, it takes that away if it's in the lower expression of the word. The higher expression of it is everything is perfect. Now, this is not to bypass anything and to go, oh yes, it's all perfect, I'm going to sit here and do nothing. We always do something. You wake up and you go, today's a new, fresh, bright day. What could I possibly create today? How could I outcreate myself today? How could I outcreate it? What miracles and magic can I create today, because I am that potent and powerful creator who is here for massive things, for massive shifts. And if I feel this way, then I can know that the external is always a reflection of me, and the external that I see right now is perfect. What can I create? What am I putting my focus on? What am I watching? Am I watching the news and what that they want me to be programmed with and conditioned with? Am I watching high vibrational movies? Am I, actually indulging in the shadow work and really letting out those purges? What am I doing with my body? What am I doing with the orgasmic energy? What am I creating? How am I making a difference on this world right now? And knowing that the difference that you are making is indeed perfect. The higher expression of you is knowing that anything you choose is perfect. When I paid that 15K, it took me a little while to get over why did I choose to do that when I had a perfectly incredible, aligned, magical, magnetic, sexy, orgasmic, joyful coach. She was perfect. Oh my God, she was perfect. But what if I could find someone else who was more perfect? What if I could find somebody else who had the magic to tell me that thing that would get me to the next thing? The one thing I was completely ignoring was that coach was me. All I had to do was put a sprinkle of me, or a whole lot of me, into me. So I had the biggest lessons in my life, and it just seemingly costed me a lot of money. And I can never, ever, ever dismiss any of the coaches I've ever had, or any coaches, in fact, because the truth is every single person, every single choice that I have done, come across, experience, has always been perfect, right? Everything. And yes, I went back to that other coach and I told her and I said, you are just incredible. The most beautiful thing about that is she said, and this is why it's so important to be in your integrity. This is why it is so important for you to be authentic and to know that you are the magic, you are the strategy, and you are already perfect. Okay, so no more when, no more if, no more maybe, because all that we have is right now in the second. And I just want you to have a look at any areas where you are literally like, oh my God, I'm a real perfectionist when it comes to this. And then ask yourself, is this a higher expression or lower expression? Like, I know some people that the perfectionitis really works for them. So I have a friend and she's like quite OCD, but she knows that clearing her head and cleaning her house and being organized means that her energy is clear and she's really, really focused, and it gives her something to do as she's clearing the house and cleaning the house. So OCD, is that a contribution? Is that a superpower? Is that a gift? Seems to work for her, because if she's sitting there and she's amongst mess, then what is that going to create for her? Then there's people like myself where I'm just like, I wouldn't say I'm messy, I'm a clean person, but I'm pretty messy. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty messy in the way that I do podcasts. I'm pretty messy in the way that I coach. I'm pretty messy in how I create and my funnels. I'm pretty ripshit and bust. I'm very, very spontaneous, and I go on these holidays and there's not much time to plan them, and I don't think about anything. I just pack my bags and I go, and I say the rest will be taken care of, because I love the juiciness and the spontaneous life that I live. I love it. And if you tried to put me into any type of box and I have to plan everything, I don't enjoy that. I enjoy living on the edge of what I'm creating, and I love asking myself questions. I love pushing the bounds, and I love creating a life by design. But sometimes it doesn't work for people. Some people love the planning process and they love to expand it out, and they enjoy that, and that is perfect. So where are we judging other people for not being like ourselves, and where are we judging ourselves for not being like other people? And where are we applying this? So I see people do this in my mediumship calls. They're like, oh my God, I want to read like that person. I want names too. Well, I want to see somebody. It's comparingitis. Comparingitis. It's literally a thing where you're like, I want to have those 100K months too. So I'm going to go find a coach who can give me that magic. But that coach would have never given you the magic, because you are the magic. So you're better off getting a coach that can help you see your magic, right? But everything you choose is perfect. Even the narcissist you chose. Even the hardships that you chose are perfect for your expansion, and you get to choose if that is still being a contribution to you or whether you must shift. So I get a lot of people that come to me and they shift their relationships, they leave their relationships, they move their houses, they literally move towns. They get a bucket load of abundance. I've had people go homeless, but change their whole entire realities and become so much more conscious, and then receive more and more and more and more. I've had clients get copious amounts of money gifted to them. I've had people receive inheritance, getting engaged, these things. There's this magic. Have people getting gifts all the time as soon as they come into my vortex, because I have a high standard expectation of high vibration and frequency. That's a ripple effect. We're all connected. So how can we be perfect in the highest expression of ourselves with absolutely no judgment of the choices that we make, but actually taking ownership of the moment to the moment to the moment, and the growth and the learning that we are creating for ourselves? It's not to say that it can't be easy. Now, what I went through with the coach that I hired that was not in alignment with me at all, what I went through was huge amounts of up levels and shifts, and it made my relationships stronger. It made me appreciate my soul clients more, because her and I obviously weren't really gelling like 100%. I really, really liked her, but just not as a coach. It made me realize that I am so on track where I want to be right now, and where I am right now may not be where I want to be in the future, because I'm always expanding and growing and shifting and realigning and pivoting. But right now where I am is perfect. And I will embrace the messy perfection that I add to everything. And I will be unapologetically perfect. I will be aligned, and I will know that this is that journey, because we're still here. We're still growing, we're still learning, we're still tapping into who we are, remembering who we are. And every time that we are with people, whether it seems to be good or it seems to be bad, we have to know that is what we have chosen. And it doesn't mean we can't shift it and change it. That's our prerogative. But it means that you're living. And because you're alive, and because you're living, and because you're having this experience, you are here on purpose. And you are here to help activate other people that come into your reality, whether it's a smile or whether they're really in your life intimately. You make a difference, because you are already perfect on a soul level. You are already perfect with the choices that you are choosing, and the universe will always support whatever it is you're choosing to get you to that next level of expansion. And for me, like I said, I wanted those hits, and I wanted them fast. I got exactly what I asked for. So when I go through my thank you list to God, to universe, to source, I say, thank you for this coach, and thank you for this coach, and thank you for this coach, and thank you for this coach. When I go through my friends list, thank you for this friend, thank you for this friend, thank you for this friend. And then I thank the people that have seemingly jumped out of my life, or seemingly done me wrong, or seemingly, were bad, with those words. They weren't. They were freaking perfect, and they did their job of what they were meant to do, which was to help me align to my next level. But it doesn't mean that the level that I was at wasn't perfect. It was perfectly there for where I was at that time. And I'm going to keep expanding, and it's always going to be perfect. So there's some food for thought for you, my friends. And I hope this gives you a little bit more of a perspective on the word perfect. It's all fucking perfect. And you get to shift your reality anytime you choose. So much love to you. And if you are ready to up level, to start that seed, or to grow that seed of consciousness, to awaken more, to be more integrated in the 5D, and you are ready to jump into these containers where you expand your vibration and your frequency and your income and your love and your receiving of everything, including your spiritual gifts and your magnetism, if you're ready to be seen, reach out. Reach out to me, join one of my containers, and let me serve you and hold the space for you and your expansion. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you so much for joining the Release Your Blocks podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love to hear from you. So please leave a review and tell me what your favorite takeaway from today was. There is so much more from where this came from. You can also find me at Holistic Energy Shifting on Facebook, where you can find more content, more coaching, and more guidance. Have a grand and glorious day, and I'll see you next time.